The Super Bowl 59 champions, your Philadelphia Eagles, are returning with another NFL season, taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Philly Sports Now, a Philly fan podcast. My name is Zach. With me is Andrew, and we're back to talk all things Philly sports. Now that Andrew has returned from his sabbatical after finishing all 29 of his NFL fantasy football drafts, it's time for us to get serious and actually talk football. For real, it's great to have Andrew back. Thank you, everyone, for listening to last, I think it was 2 weeks podcast. Putting the shorts on. Everything's doing great. I get it. Can't thank you guys enough. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you follow on Spotify. I know that's an early plug, but we are doing well. It's a new NFL season. I'm excited, and I got to get it out early. So, Eagles season is here, and we are doing the 2025 NFL season. For starters, I'm just going to throw this out there. I don't know if we've talked about this. On the cover of Madden this year is the Saquon Barkley backwards hurdle from last season. Great get. Make sure you go get a copy. That's even just a collector's item. You know what I realized? I have two versions of Madden 6, Madden 06, which is Donovan McNabb. I have Madden 6 from Xbox 360, and I have Madden 06 from PSP, and I refuse to get rid of either of them. At a time, I was even going to get the cover with Embiid. That was I believe it wasn't 2K. I forget what game that would have been. NBA Live, and I never did, and thank God, because I am now not quite in a great spot with the Sixers fans. But let's
it makes you think real quick.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
We've only had in our lifetime, we've only had two Eagles, McNabb and Barkley.
Right.
Sixers, I'm sure Iverson made it once, but that would have been before I might have been like 5 or 6 probably when he was on there.
Yeah.
And then Embiid. Phillies would have been Howard was on 07, I believe, MLB The Show, and then Holiday was on 11.
You had the Howard one on PSP, right?
No, it's PS2. Well, I might have had it on PSP as well, but I had it on PS2 for sure.
I know Holiday was on one of them.
He was on 2K11. I think it was the last MLB 2K.
Well, and then what was Harper? Harper was on the cover for
Harper was on 19, I think.
It's really you gotta love a good sports cover. Really gets you going. Like I love the Barkley cover, and I'll give a friend shout out to Parker we talked about Josh Allen's cover from I believe 2 years ago on I guess that would have been Madden 24. And he's like doing the like football collar grab and looking down or something like that, and he's just like, oh, it's a great cover. It's a great gotta give Josh Allen a great cover.
Backwards hurt,
but. No backwards hurdle. We're here to talk Eagles. Let's get into it. I'm going to start off with we have a lot of changes on defense. We Andrew and I kind of talked off screen, and there's not so many changes on offense. So really just going to focus on some defensive changes. The biggest of which is going to come down to, losing the following players via whatever signings or whatever after you win the Super Bowl, right? So we lost Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, Darius Slay, Isaiah Rodgers, Avonte Maddox. We lost, and then again, as far as defense goes, the only other one, James Bradbury, and Brandon Graham to retirement, which I will, that's like you can't. You're not. Good. I mean, I'm not mad at any of them, I guess, because you go get your money where you can. But you especially aren't upset about Brandon Graham. He did his thing.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, it was like Jason Kelce. He did his thing, and I mean, credit to Graham, came back, and yeah.
Now,
I mean, still the fact that he came back in that Super Bowl was.
I know I know we talked about that last year, but the fact that he was out for the whole season basically, and then he comes back just to play in the Super Bowl and just. It's just didn't he get a sack too, if I remember correctly?
He had something. I don't know if he got a sack, but we're not.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. I know he contributed, but I mean, how do you not when you win 40-6, basically, right? So
that's the real score.
The real score. I love the real scores. I love saying that like don't let Kansas City fans or NFL fans fool you. It's like the real score 40-6. Yeah. But no. So and then we look at our current roster that the Philadelphia Eagles have put out. Quinyon Mitchell at corner, And then it comes down to uh and Cooper DeJean obviously at corner, but there is another spot that is either going to go to Adoree Jackson or Jacorian Bennett. Now, if I go through my notes as fast as possible, Bennett was acquired from a trade, and Jackson was a free agent signing. So I definitely feel like just off of that information, the favor goes to Bennett because like the Eagles went out to acquire him essentially. Um, but they're clearly still playing for it. That's why it hasn't been decided. We're recording this on Wednesday before the game. This will go up on Thursday. God help my soul. It'll happen. Um, but Andrew, what's your thoughts on the current corner situation? And I guess really I kind of kept going and didn't talk about it, but I other losses overall.
Yeah, I think a few things. Starting with the most recent one, there was the Jackson versus Bennett. I mean, I think the trade for Bennett mid preseason training camp. I think that shows you where they believe in Jackson. I think they realized, this guy can help us, but this guy isn't a full lockdown starter. So they tried to find, they meaning Howie Roseman, the Eagles, found a guy that can come in, give him some competition, and compete for a spot there to start and make things happen come this first game. And I think that's where you kind of see it. And now the question is, does Bennett know the plays well enough? Does he know the defensive scheme? As he obviously didn't have a full training camp like other guys on the team because he came in mid training camp preseason trade. So I think that's where you're going to see some split time. But I think by week 2 or 3, I think you'll start to see Bennett pick up these snaps, more snaps than Jackson there. And Jackson is a veteran, so he played for the Giants last season, last few years, and was with the Titans before that. So this is going to be his 8th or 9th year in the NFL. So it's not like he's not an experienced guy. But again, the fact that you're making a trade mid-season or mid preseason like that shows you where they're at with Jackson and wanting more competition. I think the biggest loss outside, I mean, obviously we can talk about Brandon Graham and his leadership role, but we talked about that with Jason Kelsey, and obviously the Eagles did just fine without Jason Kelsey, right? Sure. They won a Super Bowl. So with that being said, I think the big loss is going to come down to, and it's because the Eagles didn't fully address it, and they like to go with the young guys, and you're going to see Cindy Brown take some snaps in this spot, and Andrew Makuba, the new safety they drafted. But I think C.J. Gardner-Johnson is going to be a big loss. I know we all talked about his attitude and everything, and he's cost the Eagles penalty-wise here and there, but in the end, you knew he was going to be out in the field. He was a tough player, and he obviously brought some leadership there as well, giving the team that extra edge. So I think you're going to look for that kind of spot there on the defense. And then again, just the fact that you're going to have Sidney Brown, who hasn't been a full starter in that spot, and then a rookie. I think it's going to be an interesting spot here on opening night against the Cowboys, a team that can throw the ball well. I mean, with Dak Prescott, with CeeDee Lamb, and they make the trade for George Pickens in the offseason as well. So I think, again, they're going to have guys there that are going to test the Eagles secondary from the start of the game. So I'm interested to see how the safety position looks.
Yeah, you make a great point. I can't remember if we've talked about it, so I'm just going to address it now. But with CJGJ too, like that was pretty big heartbreaker. Like because we traded him. That wasn't just he went to sign somewhere else. It's like he came back to Philly after going away, mended bridges, wins the Super Bowl. I believe created BTA. I believe that CJGJ was the one.
Seems like a him thing.
That's what, like, he was a major, like, personality on this team on and off the field. And for him to be traded off season I forgot how rough that was. That was like a tough pill to swallow. And yeah, I don't think it was a bad move. I know, like at this point in Howie we trust, and you gotta assume it was related to like cap space, and Gardner Johnson absolutely deserves the money he gets in the future, like after his deal with Texans is over. But that was a tough one. That was a tough one to swallow because he was such a guy at the parade, major part of this team on the field. Like I was disappointed to see that go. The more I think about that, but you do bring up a great point. I don't. All right. We'll get to the Dallas game soon, but I do love. my biggest concerns for the Dallas game is definitely the pass defense. But we'll get there in a sec. Let's keep going. Let's keep on moving on. Um, Overall, all this being said, Andrew, how concerned are you? What would you rate? You don't have to actually rate it, but like comparing 2024 to 2025 Eagles defenses, like how do you feel right now going into the season? Fresh slate.
I feel better, to be honest, because I think last year we went in with a lot of questions as well in similar spots. And it was all the things, how Vic Fangio take over the defense. And I think what we saw last year in Fangio really elevating this defense, turning the young guys and Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell into guys that look like they've been in the league for 5 to 6 years. And what he was able to do with Zach Bond as well. And that's why you saw that trade with Gardner Johnson allowed you to re-sign guys like Zach Bond. So I think with those core guys coming back, you got Jalen Carter coming back, Jordan Davis. So this defensive line is still going to cause chaos there for opposing offenses. So I think in the end, while yes, CJ Gardner Johnson was a loss and some of those other guys, I do think what we saw last year and the way the defense was able to elevate themselves, I think it is going to create the same thing this year. And I think you're going to see a defense that's going to take off from the beginning and really, really thrive off of the confidence from last year. So I think they're better off this year, and we'll be able to see that as well. So I'm still high on my confidence with this team. Muted.
Thank you. I don't know when I muted. I must have burped off screen, and now it's on screen. So
you got water. You got water. I saw you drink water. Whatever's in the cup, I should say.
It is water. This is my circle. This is my water bottle. This is 40 ounces on a Wednesday. It's pretty daring if it wasn't water. But now I'll come back tomorrow during the Eagles game. You know that beer's getting cracked as soon as the kickoff starts. Now, next thing to talk about. I wanted to comment on. Well, I'm not going to sit here and disagree with you regarding the defense. I do think a fan cap of sorts is kind of on your head when it comes to saying this defense is better or has you less worried. I think a lot of moving pieces happened, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's a matter of adjustments being made and how long it takes to, have the machine working properly. Now,
I want to counter to that real quick.
Sure.
I'd be more worried if we weren't bringing guys in that Fangio developed last year. So like your replacements are Jeremiah Trotter Jr., who was here last year, Jalix Hunt, who played a full season with the team last year, was able to develop underneath these guys. So you got guys that already know the system, that are already ready to go. And again, you still got the core there in Carter and Davis, and then the lockdown corners on the side there that will still do very similar things. So I think that it makes me less worried. Where last year you were bringing in guys where we didn't know what Trotter was going to be. We didn't know what Jalix Hunt was going to be. We didn't know what Quinyon Mitchell or Cooper DeJean was able to do. And even Reed Blankenship, he came off the injury last year and took off as a safety, and that's why he got honored as being one of the captains this year. So I think it's a really good spot for this team that, while, yes, you did lose a handful, you're replacing with guys that already know the system.
I will say you alluded to it at the start of there, or you mentioned it at the start, but the reason I'm not worried, I guess, like I'm not going to sit here and say I think we're a better team this season. But the reason I'm not worried at all is because the Eagles retained Vic Fangio as defensive coordinator. Yeah. And with the amount of people that stayed on the team in general, plus Vic, plus the new pieces, like I trust him to get those new pieces working with the team relatively quickly. Again, we had preseason just ended. We didn't even talk about the Eagles during preseason because I think I said it in the last podcast. I don't watch preseason games. It's a waste of my time.
I watched it, but if they're not going to play the starters, why should the starting broadcasters be or podcasters be here?
Exactly. Why should the greatest podcast in Eagles fandom talk about them if they're not going to play the starters? So I digress, but I think Vic being on the team from last year with the veterans that we still have and the newbies that are, no longer rookies like Cooper DeJean. I would say I'm not worried. I would say I'm not going to sit here and say we're better off, but I would say I'm definitely not worried. Now, speaking of coordinators, let's move it on to the only thing offensively to really talk about here is new offensive coordinator, Kevin Patua, which Kevin Patua was promoted from internally. I can't find here in my notes what he what position he had last year.
Quarterback's coach.
Sure did, quarterback coach, quarterback coach. um, but I did have here that he was promoted internally, which not surprising. Eagles tend to do that. I think other than the head coach's position, the Eagles tend to promote everyone else internally. Now, I don't really have much to say on this, so I'm just going to throw this to Andrew for his review. Andrew, how do you feel about Patua? How's the Heat?
Yeah, I feel. I mean, you were my biggest concern is he hasn't called plays yet, but Sirianni's been there before, and obviously, Sirianni got a lot of criticism for the way he called games, and I think that's got to be the concern coming in. I think the scheme's going to be fine. Again, similar or basically a whole offense back this year. So I mean, I think these guys are going to be ready to go. I have been reading. I think he's going to try to utilize the tight end position more, which I'm kind of excited about to see Goddard and Calcantara there to have a chance. And so I think that's going to be a new look there a little bit, and we'll see what happens. But I think everything we're hearing, it has been pretty good. Jahan Dotson had a good preseason, so I do like where it's at. I think the biggest concern is going to be, coming into the year, this guy hasn't called plays yet. And Sirianni said from day one when they promoted him is that he's going to be calling plays. So we'll see how he looks Thursday night against the Cowboys, and we'll see if Sirianni tries to take some of that role, right? If it doesn't go well, it's like, where's Sirianni going to be on that, and how long of the season do you give him? But I think that's got to be the concern for most fans. But I think in the end, I mean, don't get me wrong, I think coaching is a big thing. But in the end, he's got Jalen Hurts, he's got Barkley, he's got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. So I think he's in a good spot where even if he struggles a little bit, these players are going to be able to elevate the game as well, especially the offensive line, too, I didn't even mention.
Yeah, the only thing I'd really add, I think the things that make Patua work well in theory, before we get into it, before he gets to play, but in theory, the things that works is he's been a part of this team, he's worked with Nick Sirianni, and Nick Sirianni obviously knows how this team works. Like you said, with Hurts, Brown, Smith, Barkley, like these guys all work together, and Patua got the position for a reason, It wasn't just given to him. He was the guy promoted for a reason. So he has to know these guys to a degree, and Sirianni knows Patua to a degree, that there's got to be a lot of trust in the room, that they know what strengths to play to. The thing I worry about, of course, is, and this is whenever you get someone gets a new job, they try to make themselves shine. You try to like come up with the newest thing that's going to make you look great. The next tush push, so to speak. Just hope that that's not something that's kind of like in the way. It's just the new coordinator fear. That's really all it is. Like, I don't think he's going to do bad. I just hope his growing pains aren't the hardest thing to get through. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree with you, and that's part of learning. And I think that's kind of where we'll see this team at from game one. And as he tries to implement, as you said, like his plays, his rhythm of the game, and to that point, again, I think you'll see some of that trying to create it, and that's why we hear he's going to try to utilize the tight end more, because he sees it differently than Kellen Moore did. So we'll see what happens, and yeah, it's going to be on him to adjust too if that tush push doesn't work or something like that. So I mean, and he's going to be tested. I know we'll get into the Cowboys here in a little bit, but it's going to be a good test here Thursday night.
Now, before we move on to the game of the week against the Dallas Cowboys, I'm going to throw a quick. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment. And the comment for today, folks, is: did you notice that Andrew's wearing a Super Bowl 52 hat? Because I did. It's not the 59, which was what kind of surprised me. But he's wearing that 52 hat. So comment below: do you have the 52 or 59 hat, or what is your favorite hat that you wear? So moving on to the Dallas game, the not just the home opener of the Eagles, but the home opener of the NFL this year, folks. At 8:20 p.m. Thursday, September 4th, the Dallas Cowboys are coming to Lincoln Financial Field to take on your Philadelphia Eagles. I am so excited, and maybe for the first time ever, not at all nervous. And just for this game, I could be shooting myself directly in the foot, but I just don't think so. And I can't. I'm going to talk so much shit on Dallas right now because what was a contender maybe this season? I mean, since our last podcast, they went and traded Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers, which I'm going to hold off talking about them for now. But it's like they willingly made themselves worse and another NFC team better. And I got to say, with that trade comes the thing I talked about earlier. And the biggest concern for this game with Dallas is definitely, their passing game. Dak Prescott is an arguably good quarterback, I will say. He's overpaid, and I refuse to say he's worth what he's getting paid, but he's an arguably good quarterback. Andrew pointed out, not only do they have CD Lamb, they got George Pickens this offseason, who was highlight of the Pittsburgh Steelers last season. It's the Eagles are the Cowboys are offensively in a better spot. I don't know who their running back is, so maybe not there, but
your former Philadelphia Eagle, Miles Sanders.
That's right. As soon as you said that, I was like, oh wait, I do know who it is because I drafted him in the last round of one of my fantasy leagues. Like that's how little he's expected to perform. And the starting running back of the Dallas Cowboys was a last round pickup for me. So I mean, just right off the bat, and this is pretty much all I'm going to say, is I think the Dallas Cowboys' best asset is their passing game. And I think that's literally it. And I think I expect the first quarter to kind of maybe be a 7-7 kind of game, but it's really just the first time both set of starters are on the field. And then I think as soon as the second quarter gets done, I think the Eagles are already winning by like 15, 20 points. I don't see this game. I'm going to be the over under is 47.5. I think the Eagles beat that single-handedly. I think this game is an absolute demolish on the from the Philadelphia Eagles. So Andrew, I set the bar pretty high, but how do you feel going into this Dallas Cowboys game?
Yeah, you said I had the fan cap on earlier. I'm gonna throw that back at you after that one. Eagles covering the over/under by themselves. That's a bold statement there. Overall, I think yes, the Eagles have the advantage here in this game. I think for sure, and I think as you touched on it, Parsons gets moved. That hurts the Cowboys defense. They continue to not upgrade. Well, I'd say maybe they upgrade a little bit, but the run game still isn't that strong. They lost some offensive linemen in the offseason. We'll see. They usually have a strong unit, so we'll see what they're able to bring in this time. And I think with that being said, I think it's going to be a closer game than a lot of people think. Because I think since the Parsons trade, I just keep hearing, it's over this game. Like I hate hearing that. Like they still have a very good passing game, and I think again we talked about it where one of the weaknesses for the Eagles defense could be going into opening night until they get some games underneath them, and that could be in the secondary.
Right,
so,
and we just kind of pointed out before when we were talking about the defensive side changing, like the toughest spot right now is the Eagles secondary. So the Eagles secondary being their possible weakest spot, and the Dallas passing game being their possible strongest spot, it's a pretty tough combo right there for sure. I don't see a world where it's that bad. Like, don't look. Am I overreacting? Of course. Do I think the Eagles are going to score 48? No, maybe, but no. But like, I don't think it's. I could see it being a 10-point spread. Is what I'm trying to say.
8.5 is what the spread is.
Which is funny because the spread actually opened at 7. Like that's like I would put it at 9.5 is what I'm trying to say. I would take the Eagles at 9.5, which the Eagles were given 7 points. And I don't know if Micah's trade also had something to do with that, or if it's just the sheer amount of people betting on the Eagles. But the Eagles are currently at 8.5, as Andrew just said, and I would take them at 9.5. I truly think they're going to win by 10 or more points.
Yeah, no, and I expect the offense. I'm really excited to watch the offense. I think they're going to come out strong, and it's going to be whether the Eagles can pull away will be can the defense, get that stop early on. Because again, I think the offense is going to come down, score opening drive, whether we get the ball first or not. Again, I think it's going to come down to what does the defense look like, and are they able to push the Cowboys off the field quick and let the offense get the ball back and or start with the ball. And I think it's going to be an exciting night, and obviously the banner raised beforehand and before the game and everything. So I think it's going to be.
Do we get that on television?
I think it should be on the pregame.
Okay, I
I thought
definitely.
I thought the team's treating it a little weird.
What do you mean?
I get the whole, we're not Super Bowl champions anymore. It's a new season. I don't like how they're not going to be on the field. I think that was kind of a cool thing for the fans. The team's on the field, the banner's raised. And I get it, the Eagles are trying to act like, it's all behind us. We don't care about what happened last year. But to me, it's weird that the team won't be on the field.
That is especially didn't CD Lamb or another Cowboy say they were going to be on the field because they want to see
CD
it?
Lamb did say it. Yep.
That's what and
like Sirianni's treated the whole thing weird this week. Like he tried to claim I didn't even know they were raising a banner. Like, yes, you did, buddy. Yes. You've been in football. You've been in football for X amount of years. You know exactly what
Sirianni.
happened.
We all think you're gonna watch it and cry. As is fair. If I had won the Super Bowl as a head coach at all, I would watch that banner raise and cry. I would watch that banner raise as a fan and cry. But yeah, that's classic Sirianni. I didn't even know.
Everyone knows how big of fans we are of Sirianni, and I just didn't like that. I just thought that's all part of the experience. The banners raised in front of the fans and the team. And I kind of wish they'll be on the field, and maybe they will. And who knows until it actually happens? But
isn't it funny? A year ago, you and I were fighting for Sirianni's life, and fast forward to now, where we look. I'll call a spade a spade. We deserve more credit. Not that we're super.
We're Superman, you can say.
No. I was trying to say not that we're super influential or anything, but we were sitting here the entire time saying, "Watch it. Watch what happens." He has yet to do anything wrong. This guy went to the Super Bowl. He's winning games. Watch what happens. And here we are. I think the positive outlook people need a little more credit right now is all. All right, so let's get into our score predictions for the NFL's home opener. I'm going to use a little bit of Andrew's knowledge. Andrew telling me I was being a little too much of a fan. I'm going to bring it back down to earth just a smidge. I'm going to say Eagles win 34-24. I have all the confidence in the world. I think they're going to win by at least 10 points. So I think that's a solid. Give Dallas a few touchdowns. Give them a field goal. Eagles have this handled, though. I'm not worried.
I'm along similar lines of you. I think it's going to be. I think again the Eagles' offense is going to come out strong. I think the defense starts a little slow just because of the secondary before they find a rhythm. So I'm going to go pretty high scoring. I'm going to go 38-30 Eagles.
38-30. Okay, so you have covering the spread, but wait. No, not the current spread, right? 8.5?
Yeah, 8.5.
So technically, if the Eagles lose on the spread, just saying, some fan.
Let's go 38-28. I just you always say primetime games don't get that high scoring. Take the under. That's your line.
Oh, that's true. That's very true. A smart person would not bet the over. Andrew is very correct.
Here you go.
I'm just not.
You know what? We forgot to touch on that. I just remembered talking about this for some reason. The Cowboys got a new coach too. So you know what? The Eagles will blow them out. Eagles by 30.
I don't even think I remember. Wait, they got rid of McCarthy. Who's their head coach?
Honestly, forget they promoted somebody.
Oh my god. I'm not gonna change my score. Eagles and over by 1 billion. Man, I have never.
Excuse me if I pronounce his last name wrong, but Brian Schottenheimer.
Schottenheimer. That's a name. That's a name if I ever heard one.
He was the offensive. Yeah, named the 10th head coach of the Dallas Cowboys after 2 seasons as the team's offensive coordinator.
That's crazy. You go and find. Oh man. McCarthy got hired somewhere too, didn't he? Or am I making that up?
Nah, he's out on the market.
Good for him. Just enjoy the money. I'm sure if he got fired, he's definitely getting some kind of guaranteed money right now.
It
Man,
could be.
I've never ever wanted such a bad GM to stay in a team so badly as I do Jerry Jones to never retire. Just do
Right.
what you're doing forever, Jerry
Never have to worry
Jones.
about them winning a Super Bowl.
I mean, like you completely changed the game for the NFL, and like congrats to you and as every other one. But like, I don't give a shit. Keep doing what you're doing. You're making the Eagles look even better right now. All right, move on. Philadelphia Eagles schedule. We got to get Andrew and my picks in now. We're gonna go through the Eagles schedule. Give you Andrew and my win projection. I'm actually conflicted. So we just looked it up, and Vegas has the Eagles at 11 and a half wins. And I kind of think that's perfect without spoiling my review. So we'll go into it. I think I'm just going to go ahead and skip week one. We both just said, if you're listening to the podcast, as I mean, you were like 30 minutes in or whatever. We both said Eagles are going to win it against Dallas. So we're going to start off 1-0 on both sides of the ball here. Week two, I feel like we're already going to disagree. So week two, going into Kansas City.
I mean, as much as I want to win, I'm going to say Chiefs win that one.
Oh, I agree. Oh, I thought you were going to say the Eagles win. No,
If it was in Philly, I'd agree. But I think that's one home. We got the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. We beat the Chiefs on that Monday night game, which was I'll never forget that game was fun. So Chiefs are due for a win against the Birds, and I think it's going to happen.
I very much think it's the Eagles. Uh, excuse me. It's the Eagles' revenge game the year after Super Bowl 57, which would have been the 2023 season.
Yeah.
When Sirianni went, how about them Chiefs or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very much that's going to happen. Reverse. I would not be surprised if you see Travis Kelsey doing something like that off after the game. Yeah, I think it's in Arrowhead. I think Chiefs are on a revenge tour, and yeah, I think Chiefs win that game. I'm not ashamed to say that. I think that's I'm more curious how the Chiefs look in general this year. I think it's a very important year for them, like as far as their dynasty goes, because I think this could easily be the start of Baltimore, Buffalo back and forth for a few years. And if Chiefs don't bounce back this year, Chiefs could bounce back this year and be the Chiefs. Chiefs be the Chiefs, that kind of thing. But I think it's a pivotal year. I think this is a core memory moment for them. But let's move on. So week three, in Philly against the Los Angeles Rams. I will start, and I'm going to say that the Eagles win that one.
Yeah, not agree with you. I think they get the win. Going back home, coming off the loss, they'll get the Matt Stafford.
I'm also making sure Andrew knows I'm not keeping track of your wins, so I'll keep track of mine. You keep track of yours.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
I honestly think this is kind of a pick'em game, and the fact that it's in Philly is why I'm giving it to them. I think the Rams are going to be good, but I think in Philly, bounce back after losing against Kansas City. I think we go 2-1 here. Moving on to, I'm curious about Andrews. I'm going to go first. Playing in Tampa, week four, Eagles lose. Eagles can't win in Tampa Bay. I don't know what it is. I don't know. It's the same curse as the Phillies in Pittsburgh, but Eagles can't win in Tampa Bay. I have us at 2-2 at this point.
I think the Eagles win this one. I think you're due for a win down there. I think you get it done. Yeah, Tampa Bay's got a solid offense again, and yeah, we all keep hearing they have Jalen Hurts' number. I think Jalen Hurts is tired of that. He's gonna go down and get a win.
I mean, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. The next week, week five, we have back in Philly for the Denver Broncos. Now, the Denver Broncos here, they have the
Sean Payton.
yeah, Sean Payton. This is his second year with them, right?
Yes.
I'm fairly sure they're expected to be good this year. Um, I am unsure how I put this earlier, and I'm trying to remember. Uh, I'll be honest. I could kind of see the Eagles having like a close to undefeated season at home specifically. Like very, very important thing at home. So I kind of want to give this one to the Eagles, and I think I'm going to stick with that.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Eagles get this win. It's like you said, a good Broncos team. The Broncos, I think, will be very good. They have a very good defense. Bo Nix gets his second year after taking off. They got a decent receiving core and bringing Evan Ingram. So I think it's going to be a battle. I think it's going to be a good game, but Eagles win out.
Next week 6 at the New York Giants. If you followed us, if this is your first time following us, Philly Sports Now, Philly Fan Podcast, then there's a certain rule I live by, and it is that the Eagles will split with every division rival except for one. The Eagles will sweep. And I've been tossing and turning about this. I think the Eagles lose this game.
There's no way. This Giants team is going to be bad this year.
I know this Giants team is going to be bad, but by my rule, I'm going to spoil it. I think that Eagles sweep Dallas this year. I think Dallas is going to be the worst team in this division, and so I have to give one to the Giants.
Dallas has nothing to do with this game.
It does in my logic. It does in my because I'm going statistically here. I can't say we're going to sweep every team in this division. It's just not going to happen. And I don't think we're going to sweep 2 out of 4 either, or 2 out of 3. So I have to give the Giants one of these games. So I'm giving them week 6. I have to do it. I have to do it. Moving on to week 7 at Minnesota. Skull all you want. Eagles win. I will never ever say the Eagles are going to lose against Minnesota thanks to Nick Foles. I no fear.
I'll take the other side. I'm going to take Vikings in Minnesota. They get Jordan Addison back after his suspension. Justin Jefferson, a good receiving core. We'll see what McCarthy looks
Justin
like.
Jefferson's really good. Blah 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 blah. Sure. You know what I don't care about is the stupid Minnesota Vikings and their stupid fans in Minnesota. Suck my Eagles win.
There you have it.
Week 8 in Philly against the Giants. We both have them winning this game.
Yep.
So going into the bye at week 9, I will just say I have them at 5-3. Andrew,
6-2.
There you go. Moving on to week 10 at Green Bay. Very much. This is I alluded to this earlier in the podcast. I have the Eagles losing this game. I think Green Bay. Oh no, it looks like I froze. Okay. I think Green Bay might be contender for best team in the NFC this year.
Man, they were last year. I mean, they were a tough division against the Lions. They obviously made the playoffs and faced the Eagles.
But like
so a playoff rematch, yeah, they got better. It's going to come down to their health. They're already banged up. Jordan Love's had some things that here and there. They're missing Jaden Reed already. I think he's a bit banged up a little bit. But yeah, the defense is well improved, and it's about. I'm with you though. I think Green Bay and Lambeau Field are going to take that one, even after the Eagles bye. And I know
in November, starting to get a little chilly.
There's always that statistical, every team's good after the bye or whatever. But I think that's just a tough one after the bye on the road. So.
It is a tough one to have that game after the bye on the road specifically. Like, it'd be one thing if this was in Philly. Like, that's more of I'm tossing and turning back and forth on the decision, but it's in Green Bay. Like, I think the power of Lambeau Field this season overturns the power of coming off the bye.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So that going into week 11 in Philly against Detroit Lions. This is the game we all wanted last year for the NFC Championship. This was the game we were all robbed by because the Washington Commanders somehow snuck in. So yeah, I mean, I have the Eagles winning. I think this is another mentality game where Hurts, Brown, Smith, and even to an extent Barkley, I don't think he holds the mental grudge like the other 3, but I think these guys come into this game like this is the NFC Championship. Like they're ready to like show, no, we would have won this game last year too. So I do think the Eagles win week 11.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Lions take a little bit of a step back too this year. So like you said earlier, I think Packers are going to be that team in that division and steal that division from the Lions this year. So I do agree with you. I think the Eagles win that game, Sunday Night Football. All the eyes will be on that game. So yeah, give me the Eagles.
I want to add because I completely agree. I think Detroit steps down a little bit this year. That by no means, I was having this conversation today, that by no means that I think Detroit is going to be bad. I just don't think they're going to do better than Green Bay. And that's like, I was talking to someone about this, and it was like I spat in his face by saying Detroit was going to be worse than Green Bay. It's like, I still think Detroit is going to be like fourth or third overall in the NFC. I just don't think they're beating Green Bay. And I think the Eagles will beat them too, unless, barring injuries and such.
No, I think they just kind of switch.
Yeah. So going into week 12 at Dallas against the Cowboys, and this is where I'm telling you, this is my sweep of the season, folks. I think the Eagles win their second matchup against Dallas in Dallas. It's not even a primetime game. Like usually this game, I think, is primetime in one way or another, whether it's Thursday night, Monday night, that kind of thing. It's a 4:25 game on a Sunday. Like, yeah, I think this is an Eagles win.
Yep, I agree with you. Eagles get the win.
Going to week 13, we have going against the Chicago Bears in Philly. I mean, that's a win. What are we talking about?
I'll tell you what. The only thing that worries, I'm going to pick the Eagles, but the only thing that worries me is it's the weird Friday game. And whenever you play on like an odd day, it's when it gets all crazy.
Oh, is this Black Friday?
Yeah, Eagles will find a way to win, but it's Friday at 3:00 Eastern. That's just such a weird time.
This is when I might be jumping on a Jolly Roger trying to figure out how to watch this game. I'll tell you, I don't know. I don't have Prime. I don't know about any listeners, but we ain't getting paid enough from Philly Sports Now to get Prime. So maybe if you donate some money or something, I don't know. But I'm not paying for Prime just for some Friday night game. Moving on to week 14, we have in LA against the Chargers, and I'm going to do a loss for this one.
I agree with you. I think it's going to be a loss. Going out to LA is going to be tough, and that Chargers team is always a hard-fought team. So,
and yeah, I think the Chargers are on the up and up. Like, I don't think, slow and steady kind of up and up, but I think it's going to be a tough one, and I'm going to give this one to them. Next game is in Philly against the Raiders, which I'm going to say is a win.
Yeah.
So, since that was so easy, we're going to just move on to week 16, and that's in Washington against the Commanders. I'm going to give this one to Washington. I do think Washington's going to be tough this year. I don't think they're going to be better than Philly, but
yeah, no, I agree with you. It's going to be a tough game. It could be. I mean, I know jumping a little here, but the 2 of the final 3 games are against the Commanders. I mean, talk about a way to figure out who's going to be the division winner after last year. So, I mean, it's going to be a fun battle to the end this year with them pushing those games back to the end of the season. But in Washington, I lean Commanders.
I'm looking at my sheet here, and I'm like, I have the Eagles losing more than I had them losing this morning. That's what that's coming down to. Like,
I will say it's not an easy schedule.
It's for sure not an easy schedule.
We could do this 4 more times and come out with a different record each time.
It's really funny though, because I bet you
had him sweeping the Giants this morning.
No, I didn't. No, because I refuse to do that. I refuse to acknowledge it. We're going into week 17 in Buffalo. I think this is a loss.
I don't know. I'm going to lean win.
I am leaning.
You're coming off a loss. I think the Eagles are a tough team. They know what's going to be at stake at that point, especially after a loss to Washington. Buffalo, yeah, they're out there. I mean, we'll see what kind of receivers they have, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna go Eagles win.
So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna retroactive here.
We're gonna watch you flip a coin right now.
I'm gonna retroactive. No. But I'm gonna go retroactive because I think the Eagles lose against Buffalo. I'm pretty set on that. However, I think the Eagles get 11 wins. I'm spoiling my number here, but I'm off. I'm off by 1, so I'm going back in time.
We're sweeping the Giants.
You know what? We're sweeping the Giants. I'll agree with Andrew on it. We're sweeping the Giants. This is official. We're sweeping the Giants. But I gotta think. I personally, I think Buffalo's going to the Super Bowl this year. I think it is their year in the AFC. So I'm going to give them a win here because in my mind, again, if you've been watching us for a year, in my mind, if the Eagles lose this game, then the Eagles will win against them in the Super Bowl. So that's my logic. I'm going in Eagles loss against Buffalo week 17. Sorry, I'm rambling. Final game of the season. because Andrew said win, right?
Yes.
Final game of the season, week 18 in Philly, thank God, against the Washington Commanders. I already spoiled it, but I have this as a win. This is the Eagles win against Washington in Philadelphia.
Yep. Eagles beat Washington, clinched the division. Playoffs are back in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I mean, to wrap it up, go into that. I do think the Eagles clinch the division, which would be the first back-to-back in the NFC East, right? Because we lost to Dallas in 2023. I think the Eagles clinch the division, assuming everything's healthy, blah, 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 maintain, blah, blah, blah. I think Eagles clinch the division. I think we get 11 wins, which would put us under, which is why I was laughing earlier. I had us at 11 wins. So I will say, you talked about flip a coin. I think a lot of these are pick'em games. Like, I think there is a good chance the Eagles win a lot of these losses that I have, and I think there's a good chance they lose a lot of these wins. Like, it's a tough schedule, but it's not just tough, like unfair. I think Eagles are even with a lot of these teams, so it's just gonna be good football.
Yeah, no, it is. And that's what happens when you win the division and you get paired up with all of the other division winners when they split that schedule up. So I think it's going to be a good test. The Eagles will be well tested going into the playoffs. And I had them at 12 wins. So I had them at just over that 11 mark.
So, Vegas is never wrong. Vegas is never wrong, dude. All right, folks. Well, this was a little bit of a long one for us recently, but thanks for sticking with it. Thank you for listening to Philly Sports Now, a Philly fan podcast. You can find us on social media. Links in the description below. Hey, if you haven't already, make sure you go watch our YouTube shorts. And maybe I'll finally create the TikTok account we should be maintaining, but we'll get there. So, yeah, thanks again. I'm very excited. It's finally Eagles season. 11 wins for me, 12 wins for Andrew. NFC East winners regardless. And for the last time, your Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And as always, go Birds. Good night. Go!